Hello everyone,
and welcome to One
plus one is one. So, welcome. In this episode, we're going to talk about the power of boundaries and saying no, especially for women. So, if you ever felt overwhelmed by saying no, or that people just want too much for you and you can't take it, and you always had a need to say yes, even though you didn't want to do it, this episode is for you.
Exactly. It's such an important topic and something that we are not aware how much it affects us in our day-to-day life. And yeah, so let's start. Why are boundaries so important? I would say this has a lot to do with self-respect. If you don't know how to say no, and if you don't know how to respect your own time, your own energy, and your own mental health, this is going to drive you crazy at a point. If you like say yes to everybody and are trying to, I don't know, please everyone, this is just not healthy for a human being, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can get burnout really easily
Right, yeah.
if you just say yes to everything and to everyone. Like, the human is not made to say yes to everything, because there are certain things that you want to do, some that you don't want to do. And boundaries are so important. Otherwise, people will take advantage of you.
Totally. And there are so many people out there that know that you are like this kind of person who is always nice and always says yes. And these people, they know that and they will definitely take advantage of you. And this is just so sad somehow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And also, I think this pressure is just so unhealthy, especially because it comes with stress, burnouts, how you said it before. And this constant pressure and constantly thinking that you have to be there for everyone and that you have to please everyone will drive you crazy at some point. And we have to know that we have to put ourselves first. You know, there is no other person that's more important than yourself.
Yes, and I think that if you always say yes to everyone and always put the other people in your life first before yourself, you will feel drowned at one point, because you can't do everything for everybody but not for yourself. And I think that what many people get wrong is that if you say no, it's a rejection to someone else.
Yeah.
But it's more of a, I'm saying no to you because I'm saying yes to myself,
Exactly.
to my values and priorities.
Exactly. You can not live a happy life if you're living for other people. You have to live for yourself first and do the things that you really want to do. And there is nothing wrong with saying no, I don't want to. And that's completely fine. And people, they have to understand that, you know? And especially when you're like with family, friends, I don't know, and you always have the feeling like, oh, I should say yes, oh, I should. You have to understand that's not always how it should be, you know? And it's completely fine to say no. And if people react like in a bad way when you like say no, then that also says a lot about like how they see you and like how they feel about you, you know?
Absolutely.
And if they respect you. If you say, I don't want to do this because I don't feel comfortable doing this, or I just don't want to, then they have to understand that these are your feelings, you know? And they cannot discuss your feelings with you because this is just the way you feel and you're the only one who truly knows how you feel inside. And they have to accept that, you know? So just so you know, if people like don't agree with you or are like mad because you said no, then I don't know, you should like think about why are they like mad at you, you know? Why are they not respecting your choice?
Yeah, this is probably a problem with the people who don't respect your boundaries or don't accept you saying a no.
I personally noticed that when I start practicing this setting boundaries and just saying no, I become much more confident. And also it helped me a lot with my inner growth, you know? I start like asking myself, okay, do I really want to do this? Is this what I want to do now? And I think this helps you a lot to like understand that sometimes you are so used to say yes to everything. But when you think about it, you don't really want to do that. And this is like stressing you out without even noticing.
Yeah, I think so too. And also, when other women, for example, see you standing up for yourself, for your boundaries and values, they also feel empowered by that, I think.
Of course.
Because, for example, let's say a few years ago, I never stood up for myself, but when you see someone, especially a woman, for example, you're standing up for yourself, and I'm like, oh, she can do it. This means I can also do it.
Exactly.
And you feel encouraged and empowered. And it's very important that we support each other in this journey, because as women, we are thought to not stand up for ourselves.
Totally. In today's society, definitely. Women, I don't know. I think society has teach us to, okay, as a woman, you always have to be perfect. You have to want to be a mother in the future. You have to want to have kids. But also you have to be married, and also you have to keep your job, because otherwise you are like lazy, and you cannot just be a housewife, or you only have to be a housewife, all these thousand things. And it's like, it's so like, I don't know, the life of a woman is like already planned, I think, you know. Society has like given us a structure that we have to follow without even taking in account our personal decisions.
Definitely. And it's so thought and viewed that women always are supposed to put others' needs first and interests, and do everything they can do to make everybody feel seen and comfortable. But like, how is this supposed to work?
This is just not possible. We cannot do everything, you know. Now, well, this is like for all genders, not only for women. But when sometimes people think that when they say no, other ones don't like them anymore. They're afraid of rejection, you know. But we have to understand that what's so wrong about rejection? It's not that bad at all. If a person gets mad, as I said before, then just let it be. Then let them totally. It's like they're not accepting your decision, and they're not respecting your feelings, and they're not taking into account your feelings. So why would you still want to be in contact with that person and try to please them? And I don't know,
makes no sense.
Makes totally no sense. And I think we should respect our time, because time is so valuable, you know. And we have to stop like pressuring ourselves to do things that we don't really want to do.
Definitely. I think there's different types of boundaries, but like you said, time is one of the biggest. I don't know, it really depends.
It's equal.
Everything is equal. Yeah, there's not one there's more important or less important. But for example, time, you get to choose how you spend your time. Totally. And I understand that people are afraid of saying no because they, like you said, they don't want to offend people or they don't want to damage relationships. But it shouldn't be a damage saying no.
Exactly.
If it is, then this is a relationship you might want to reconsider, you know?
Like, then you should question the relationship. Totally. I agree. An experience that really changed my life and the way I think about setting boundaries was my time as an au pair in Australia. That was actually 1 year ago exactly. And I have to say, this family, I have nothing against this family, first of all, and also nothing against the kids, but there were like a lot of misunderstandings and situations where the family like took advantage of me a lot. I worked like how do you say, I work like a crazy person, let me just say that. And I had to wake up in the middle of the night when the kids were like crying, and I was working 24/7 literally, and I couldn't say no. I felt so ashamed, and I felt also so bad because the mom had a newborn kid and blah blah blah. And even though the mom had a lot to do and the family needed help, I am not the slave of the family, you know.
Definitely.
I really thought, okay, it's all on me. What happened if I say my work time is just not being respected, I don't have enough free time, you know, because there's like a contract where everything is regulated, and this they weren't respecting it, even though they knew about this contract, and I firmed the contract and they firmed the contract too.
Yeah.
And I felt just so bad to say like no, because the kids blah blah blah. but this was just not okay. I had to, from the beginning, I had to set my boundaries and say, okay, look,
Exactly.
I am happy to help you. I will do everything that's in my hands to help you. And I did, of course. But there are limits. And I cannot be like working 24/7, like, I don't even know. And it's not that the family didn't notice. They totally noticed. I was so stressed. I looked crazy every day. I was with the kids, and it was, the mom knew that I was dying.
This is the problem, because people, when you let them treat you badly, you should have said something in the beginning, but it is so hard because you went there alone, different continent, other side of the world,
different language, everything, culture, and it was so hard for me. And the family, they know that.
No, exactly. They started using you because they know, oh, she didn't say anything, she won't say anything, so, let's just exploit her, like literally.
Yes. And that's like the thing, you have to say it from the beginning, and the beginning is the most hard part. But when you overcome this scaredness of talking out for yourself, speaking up for yourself, then it gets much more easier later, So you have to start from the beginning and like set boundaries first. And that was a really somehow traumatic experience for me, because I've always been like the person, oh, let me help you, oh, it's fine, no worries, I will do it for you. But since this experience, after that, I was like, okay, no, that cannot happen to me, that was an experience. But that's how I learned that people, they cannot just use you,
No, and I think that society tells you that if you, like you said, just speak up for yourself, they're like, oh, but you're unkind. This has nothing to do with being unkind. Because I remember, oh, Charlotte is so kind, but you're still as kind, but it doesn't mean that if you want to be a kind person, you can't let people use you.
Totally,
this is just stupid.
You can be both, you can be kind, respectful, but still saying no.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you also had like an experience, also working experience.
Yeah, also working. So while you were in Australia, I was in Zelden. I was working in a ski resort in a hotel in Austria. And I remember like the first day there, I thought I'm leaving. No. So I signed a contract online. I never saw these people before online, like ski resort hotel for 5 months. All in all, beautiful experience, but also traumatic. I had to learn a lot. Yes. It was very relevant that I go through all of this, because otherwise I would still let people treat me badly. I know this.
Me too, exactly the same. Yeah.
I arrived there. I knew before that I was going to I would have like my own room.
Oh yeah.
Own room, of course.
Yeah.
I arrived there. I think I was one of the first people to arrive, like two days before the season started. This bosses of mine walked me to the room, and it was a man and a woman, a couple. And they say, oh, this is your room, so this other girl will come tomorrow. I saw 2 beds in there.
Yeah.
I was so shocked.
Oh my
and
God,
so shy.
Yes.
That I just didn't say anything. I was like, my parents were with me. My parents were like, Ilinka, say something right now. I was there. I unpacked everything in this room. And I thought, okay, this other girl is going to come tomorrow.
You have to say something now.
I have to say something now. After I unpacked everything, because I was like, okay, they gave me this room. They already planned everything. Everybody has its room. I cannot make the schedule different. I started searching for excuses for them why they suddenly gave me a double room instead of a single one.
Exactly. But in the contract...
there was a room for me. Exactly. Of course, just for me. So I didn't say anything at the beginning, and then I was like, okay, if I didn't say anything at the beginning, I can't say anything now. Because why didn't I let them know that this is a problem for me from the beginning, before I did everything and moved into the room? And I thought, I'm just making everything more complicated. Okay, until the night came, and I genuinely couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
I could not sleep. I was like, this girl is going to come here tomorrow with everything that I unpacked. I was like, okay, but there's someone who's also going to be there.
That's so annoying, no.
And I couldn't go to sleep. And mind you, these were supposed to be my bosses for the next months, and they were, because I stayed in the end.
Yes.
So I texted my boss and I said, I didn't know where he was in the hotel, so I was like, okay, we need to talk about something tomorrow. This doesn't work for me. I'm sorry that I didn't say it earlier. My mistake, but this is not the agreement.
Totally.
And I have to say, I kind of took the easier way, because texting is, of course, much easier than speaking.
But still,
the next morning, I went up, I think, at 7 at the reception. The other people who were working were still not there. I was there and said, yeah, I have to change the room. And I was shaking.
Yeah.
I went also alone, different country, not so far, but I was there alone, supposed to be there with these people for a long period of time, my bosses. And this is the first impression that they get of me. Me not speaking up for myself at first, but then saying, and then I have to say that they didn't react really positive to this. Like, why? No, this wasn't the agreement. I was like, no, this was the agreement.
This was the agreement,
I spoke up for myself, but it was one of the hardest things. Because,
Crazy,
especially because I don't know, if it was only the woman, I think it might have felt easier for me. But with the man, he was like, no, you're here, like...
Yeah.
He made me feel so small in a way, and I spoke up for myself. I got the room. It was like a whole drama, and I have to say that the first 2 weeks out of this 5 months, they treated me horrible. They didn't like me because I spoke up, but at the same time, they also didn't. They knew that they can't do anything with me anymore, and I did this from the beginning.
And that's so important.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you have. People see if, okay, can we take advantage of her?
Yeah.
Oh, is she like sensitive, is she like easy to take advantage of? And if you from the beginning are like, oh yeah, no worries, I will do everything you want, then the rest of your life or the rest of your relationship with a person will be just horrific.
Definitely. And yes, those first weeks were hard, but I think that they saw that they couldn't break me. Well, they did break me at one point, but then not again. And then it's just like, okay, we can't do whatever we want with her because this just doesn't work. This girl speaks up for herself. We can't use her.
Yeah.
And this made my life there 1,000 times easier, even though it was so hard. And we don't even have to think about really big things. It can be something as easy as if you go to the hair salon and you don't like the haircut, you have to say something.
Exactly. Oh,
the nails,
totally.
you have
the
to
nails,
say
you
something.
Have to say
like
something, yeah.
Easy things where you're like, no, this is not what I wanted.
Exactly. Like you don't have to start drastically saying no to everybody and no. You can start with small things like, oh, can you please do this one? Sorry, I cannot. I'm busy. I have things to do, And we mentioned this like before a few times ago, and you mentioned this like I don't remember when exactly you said like a no is a completely sentence.
Yeah.
And this is something that people have to understand and something that you have to understand. If you say no, it's just no, and you don't have to give anyone any explanations. And I think this goes especially into, I don't know, things with men, for example.
Especially, yeah.
Because men, I notice, they don't like to take no for an answer.
Some can't take no for an answer. And you have to be very, very drastic.
Totally. And I have to say, with men, it's like, men can intimidate you, like, very easily. Well, that happened, I don't know, that's the feeling that I have.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's like, it's hard to say like a direct no. You might be scared of how they will react or what they will think about you. And, you never know how men will react. So sometimes it's so hard for women to say just no, I don't want to, or no. And men have to understand that no is a completely sentence.
Yeah.
And
I think we both have had struggles with this in the past, with saying no. Sometimes you think, or I used to think, that there comes a point where, okay, but if I'm here and if I don't know, I can't say no anymore. And
exactly.
This is, you can and you have to say no matter what.
Exactly.
But I never have been forced to do anything or something like that. Not at all.
But still, other things that are just
like,
not okay.
There happened things that I didn't want to happen, but I did not let the other person know
Exactly.
that I didn't want this to happen.
Yeah.
And then I cannot blame them.
Exactly.
You know?
Because you didn't say, like, no, I don't want to, or you couldn't, like, set the boundaries.
Yeah.
But still,
but I didn't.
You didn't, exactly. And men... Also, I think when you say like, I'm not sure, they think that it's a yes, you know?
Yeah, you have to say no.
You have to say no, exactly. There are also like these situations with men. For example, let's just say he took you out for dinner and he bought you a present. And then men obviously want something in return. He will, I don't know. And maybe I don't know, for example, he wants to kiss you, or he wants to, I don't know, you want to come home with me, something like that. And if you don't want to, you have to be aware that you don't have to say yes just because he made something for you, just because he gifted you something, or he was so nice. If you don't want to, you don't own him anything, you know?
Yeah. And I think that this is where the part with this guilt comes in.
Yeah.
I've experienced this. You go out with someone and they pay for everything as they should, though. This is normal.
Exactly. This is just
not
the bare minimum.
This is not
girls.
the price. You're not selling yourself.
Exactly.
But I don't know. They put in an effort to do things, to be nice to you, blah, blah, blah. This doesn't mean that you have to
do anything or give
in
them
return. And
totally.
let's say you even say, okay, for example, you go with someone and you want to kiss them, and maybe you even go home with them, with someone you've been seeing a few times or something, but you can still be at someone's house.
Yes.
After kissing them,
Yes.
after, I don't know, making out, and say, okay, but this is as far as it goes.
Exactly. And you don't have to be ashamed to say no, because you don't have to think, because we have come so far, I have to keep going because what will he think? No.
Exactly. And just because you were saying,
no,
sorry.
Worry. You do as much as you want, and you don't have to do more than you want to do, than you don't want to do. And
sometimes I think that many women, from what I've heard and experiences, they think that, okay, now I'm at this guy's apartment. Yes. I'm already here. He must think that I want this.
Exactly.
But you can still just change your mind.
Totally.
And I think that I don't want to know how many women have still gone through with it.
Exactly.
Even though they didn't want it, just because they felt like obligated to do so, because they were already there
in the situation,
but
they didn't.
You can be naked and still say no.
Totally.
Like, okay, no, stop.
Totally.
Stop.
And this takes you so much courage to say. And I noticed for me personally in the past, it was always very hard to put myself together and say like, okay, come, you can say no, it's okay. I am the one who take the decision here, you know? And this is just very difficult, I know.
Yeah.
But it's something completely normal, and something that you have to do, because otherwise you will regret more things. I don't know. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think I definitely had in my, I don't know, in the past year, really I didn't do this the right way with no in general.
Exactly.
There's also like setting boundaries is one thing, but sometimes you just have to say no.
Exactly.
I think with boundaries, now I'm doing great with both, but it can start by saying no or by setting boundaries. It won't happen everything overnight.
Exactly. I think as a man, you have to get an real yes if it's about, I don't know, getting intimate or something. Men, they're like, if you say like, okay, yeah, no. Guys, if a boy is listening to this, you have to get a very confident yes from a girl, It's not like, I'm not sure, you know what I mean?
This is really good. Because
they're like, okay, she's not saying no, she's letting it pass. I'm going to actually take advantage, because if you don't get like a real excited yes, then it's a no. And that's something men, they don't want to get it,
Definitely. And like you said, there has to be, let's say, it's this point where you're getting intimate. This can also be, but we're taking like the worst
Yeah,
case
we're getting
scenario
like
now.
in a
'Cause
different direction.
it can be
but
completely simple things, but let's talk about something more major.
yeah,
Which is, this guy wants, okay, so do you want to?
yeah,
Or they sometimes don't even ask, because
right.
that's
Look,
the thing, they sometimes don't ask, but you have to ask, and if it's not a yes,
exactly.
like yes,
This is. I think we can do like another different
Yeah.
podcast about this topic, because this happens a lot. Men, they don't ask today. In today's world, I think they don't ask. They just do, and this is just not okay.
No.
Before they start anything, not even if before anything, they should ask. They cannot just start doing things without knowing if you really want to. They have to communicate, and this is just so important.
Yeah, definitely. And it says a lot about a man if he does that, because if he just hopes to get away, like,
Exactly. That's
how can
so
you be a man
right?
who knows, oh yeah, I didn't ask her, because, then the possibility is smaller that she says,
Exactly. That's
but
crazy.
like this is assault. Like, you cannot be doing this.
Totally. You have to ask. You cannot just start doing things hoping, well, she's...
Because guys will take advantage
And
of
they know
you.
that. They
Of
know when
course.
girls are intimidated, and they know it's hard to say no. And that's why they don't even ask.
Yeah.
So girls, you have to say no.
Yeah.
And really, especially for the young girls out there, believe me, just learn how to say no. I mean, in any situation, with boys especially, please. So
Be careful.
yeah, be careful.
Okay, so now I think it would be a good time to give a little tips to all the
Yes.
women, or even if, like I said, men are watching. This goes for all. This is a little more
Exactly.
focused on the women,
Yeah,
but
it's
it goes
about
for
everyone,
everybody,
yeah.
definitely. I think that sometimes you feel when someone asks you something, we can talk about something major or small, but let's say you are a woman working a lot, you're busy. You're busy. You need a day off, a self-care day, and your friend group is asking you, oh, you want to go out tonight, get drunk, blah, blah, blah. And you don't want to,
Yes.
but you kind of feel like saying yes because you don't want them to get
Think
angry.
that you're boring.
Yeah,
and
blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you can just take a moment before answering.
Exactly.
You don't have to say, sometimes I feel like we have the need to give an instant yes or no.
You don't have to, exactly.
And you can just take a few seconds.
And you think how you truly feel
Yeah,
about the
or
situation.
say, I need a minute to think about this.
Exactly.
And then you can get yourself together and say, I don't want to go.
Exactly. No, totally. No, totally. I completely agree. Today, everything happens so fast, and people think that you have to be like online 24/7. No, you can take your time. You can read the message and take your time to answer, and that's completely fine. And we're, as I said before, we're so used to say yes to everything that we don't even think if we really want to do something. We're like, oh yeah, let's go out. I always say yes, but you don't really want to.
But yeah, sometimes you just need a little more time to really think about if this is something you really want to do.
Yes.
Maybe you need to see in your schedule, okay, does this fit in? I never understood this concept of yes, no, instantly. Sometimes you just need to think about it.
Totally. We need some time. It's okay. As we said at the beginning, take it step by step. You don't have to say no to everything from today to tomorrow. You can start by small things that you notice that you always say yes and you don't really want them to do. Start making a change, because without change, everything will stay the same, right?
Yeah, definitely. What I also think it's really important to notice that sometimes your body gives you signals, and if something is not an instant yes, it's a no.
It's a no, right? Totally. If you're not excited from the beginning about a proposal or about anything, it's a no.
It's your intuition telling you that this is something that maybe you're just not supposed to do. And
exactly.
like I said, we're going back to the guy thing. If it's like, I don't know, this is a no.
This is a no.
I don't know. It has no in it.
Exactly. Totally. If you're not excited, like, oh my God, yes, I want to do this, then overthink it. Like,
then it's a no. Yeah. I've actually read something about the Stanford Business Study, which also helps you say this is not about no, but more of I don't or I can't. So let's say let's say the going out example. This is something easier. You go out with your friends, you want to go out, but you don't feel like drinking because you just don't want to drink. It's that easy. And your friends are asking, oh, but why aren't you drinking? Instead of saying I can't drink, say just I don't drink. This is something with just setting clear boundaries. Because sometimes if you say I can't drink, they're like, oh, but you can drink. Why can't you drink?
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's more of a I don't drink, it's I just don't drink. And this can't, I mean, you can, you just don't want to.
Exactly.
Don't blame it onto someone else because then
this is your decision. These are your feelings and nobody can say anything.
Definitely, because if you say I can't, the people around you will try to push that. Like, but why can't you? Of course you can. You can have one. But saying I don't, it's like, no, I genuinely don't want to. Even if I could, I don't want to.
Exactly.
And this is something that I think also really helps while talking. Just be very clear about your intentions.
Totally. You have to, don't like go around the thing. In German, you say don't go around the soup or something. Okay, I don't know. That was just be direct and clear. Yeah, and also think about like it doesn't matter if it's your best friend, if it's your colleague, if it's a family member. You can still say no. You know, it doesn't matter who it is. You have to set your boundaries and don't think, oh, it's a friend of mine. What would they think about me? Oh, a family member. Blah blah. No. Treat everybody the same, put yourself first, and believe me, you will feel so much better. And it's such a release to know that you can say no. It's such a release to know that people are not taking advantage of you and that people are not like trying to manipulate you and to use you, because it's just so unfair. When I think back in the past about so many times that I said like yes, and I pleased everybody, and what did it do with me? It didn't took me anywhere, you know?
No. As a conclusion, I think that everybody should just stand up for themselves, because otherwise people will use that and make it to their advantage. And you're not here for people to use you on this earth.
Totally.
Do what your heart tells you.
It's time to take care of your mental health, of your energy, which is so important, you know? It's just so draining to please everyone. It's impossible to be there for everybody and to be perfect for everybody, you know? So yeah, how you said, take time for yourself, put yourself first and do what you really want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is it.
Yeah.
I hope we could help you a little,
Yes.
encourage you to really speak up for yourself.
It's so important, guys, please, and it will help you a lot in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, you'll just realize how much better you feel when you just do the things you need to do.
Yes. Try it just once and then you will see how good it feels.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching or listening wherever you are. We have a new episode every Sunday, and
see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.